Right, friends, today we are just getting straight in there with the chores, and I'll do my intro as we go because I desperately need to sort this plant. I say desperately, I don't desperately need to, but I'd rather sort it sooner than later. But basically in this video, I am going to do an afternoon of plant chores and bring y'all along with me for the ride. I've got lots of different bits to do and I thought it'd be more fun to do them together. So that's what we're gonna be getting up to today. Before we get into it though, I want to say if you're new here and you don't know me already, hi, my name is Emma and I make houseplanting content all over the internet. So if you want to follow along with my houseplanting journey and maybe learn something along the way, stick around, watch some more of my videos and subscribe to my channel. If you are not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you returning. Now let's continue to get into it. So this is my Alocasia Gagiana here, and the other day I was having a look at it because this is my spot on the couch here. I was having a look at it and I saw one of the leaves was like a little bit I saw something funky on the back of the leaf, and it's all a bit weird because I didn't actually see any spider mites, but I saw what looked like the remnants of spider mites, which is very, very strange. Like, I've never actually seen that before when I didn't actually see spider mites as well, and so I was a little bit confused and not freaked out, but I'm very aware that I don't want this plant to have a massive spider mite issue, and so I am just gonna get on with wiping it down. I'm currently using my alcohol water here, and I think it's like a 1 part alcohol to 3 or 4 parts water solution, and applying that onto the leaf here with a sponge, and that should do, like, it'll kill anything that's on it at the minute. But like I said, I haven't seen anything on it, so I'm very confused, and I've looked on a lot of the different leaves and I've not seen any real spider mites, like alive spider mites. So I'm very confused as to what is going on here. This one has just lost a couple of like old leaves, but that didn't scream not normal to me, because that's just what happens with alocasias sometimes when they're growing very well, which is, you can tell this one is, it's got freaking massive leaves. Sometimes they just get rid of the bottom leaves, they just like kill them off because they don't need them anymore to like continue surviving. So I didn't think anything of that really, and I didn't see anything on those that gave me pause or made me think, oh, there's pest damage going on here. And I actually haven't seen any actual pest damage on these either, so I'm very confused, but I figured I'd rather be safe than sorry in this case and treat the whole thing as if I have seen spider mites and damage, because if I do that, then I don't have to like worry as much anymore. It's also a very cloudy day today. It was like really lovely and sunny last week, and then at the weekend it just went full clouds and kind of sad and gray, and so we're dealing with it, and hopefully it'll get nicer throughout the week. But yeah, that's what's happening first. I've got a couple of other things to do as well. I would love to maybe chop and extend my Raphidophora tetrasperma. I'll show you why in a little bit, but basically it has gotten a bit, like, the bottom's just not looking as good as I would want it to, so I'd rather just chop and extend it. I don't need it to be freaking massive, and it's been about that tall, and I've continued to just chop the top for at least a year or two now, so better to just do it and take that plunge. Hey buddy! We've got Cosmo here, hanging out. You're probably not gonna like the smell of this. This is alcohol, and I don't think kitties do well with alcohol, baby. I'm also going to do the other plants in this area just because I'd rather, again, be safe than sorry. My Portadora only has 2 leaves, so that won't be difficult at all. And I suppose I could do the Bird of Paradise as well, but again, I've not really noticed any problems, so it does feel just kind of like It's just preventative, I suppose. You know? Cool. So let me chuck some music on over this and I can finish doing the rest of this little area here. Maybe from here you can see the issue I'm currently having with my Raphidophora tetrasperma. One, it is absolutely gigantic. I'm 5'9", and it is as tall as I am, if not taller. It's obviously grown off the top of this moss pole 100 times over, and I've had to keep chopping it back and chopping it back. I also have some props that I might pop in the bottom when I do the bottom, but also at the bottom, it's gotten a little bit sparse. I think because the moss, like, it doesn't stay as wet as I would want it to, being this big. And so it's gotten very dry down there, and I feel like I could probably just cut it, maybe even in 2/3. And then eventually later I will put the top back on, but also like down at the bottom, it's got so many stems in that soil that have just like not. Yeah, so we're gonna chop it up and see what happens. I'm a little bit nervous because I absolutely love this plant and I don't want it to die, but I'm sure that it won't. Raphidophora tetraspermas are hardy as. So, let's do this thing. I also have reason to be concerned that it might be a kind of difficult thing to undo this top section because there are so many roots. So hopefully it won't be as hard as I think it might be, but if it is, it is. Don't really have a choice in that. But we can lay you down there and do some chopping. Hey baby. Cosmo's also tried to like go after this plant quite a lot, especially when it was in the bedroom, and then when I moved into the office. We're now letting him roam around a whole lot more, and so he just likes going for plants still, and so I'm still working on trying to have him avoid doing that, but I think that's easier said than done. So I'm literally just going to almost indiscriminately chop these guys off, and hope that I'm able to pull this apart without too much difficulty. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, it's not going easy. Oh, maybe I need to chop some roots that have gone through. Hey, don't eat that. Okay. Oh, that's better. Oh yeah. That's actually wasn't that difficult at all. So I now have, actually comparatively, a very, very small portion of this plant. Oh, it's kind of sad. Okay. So I'm actually probably gonna have to use this pot for, no, don't eat that, for this plant anyways going forward. So I might just end up, this sounds bad, but getting rid of that whole portion. I know that isn't ideal, but I don't have any more big pots, I don't think, that would work well enough for this plant. And that one's already got like the holes in the right places for it and everything. So it feels like it probably would be the best answer. Just removing a good chunk of moss from the bottom of the pole, because it'll be underneath the soil and I don't want that to be in there. I can always pop this back in the top afterwards, because this is perfectly, actually this bit of moss is still quite moist, which is good. It hasn't gone hydrophobic. Also, Cosmo's just sniffing around down the bottom, smelling the moss. He's not trying to eat it. I think he's just such a curious little boy. Just wants to know what's going on all the time, and I love it. I guess life update with that, we've gotten to the point now where they can kind of just be about together-ish, and they do play and they play fight, and like we're still not quite sure where that line ends and fighting begins, but we're in a really, really good spot with them, and we still like can't leave them alone unsupervised like overnight, or if we leave the house or something, can't do that, which I think is pretty reasonable. But it's still progress, especially considering it's been, oh gosh, it was 8 weeks in May, June. I genuinely don't even remember. It feels like it's been forever. He feels like he's 100% part of the family at this point. He is with us, which is very, very exciting. We absolutely love him. So we have some pretty decent roots in there, which is awesome. It makes swapping it over really, really easy. How's the best way to do this? I feel like I might just have to dump this whole bit out, because I don't think I need any of this part, or really want any of this part. Like all of that, basically. I don't need that. So I'm just gonna lay it down to the side, but I will want to keep that moss pole because obviously it's quite nice. So let's see. Oh, I might need to take out a little bit more moss. I feel like it's good to start fresh every now and then as well. Like I haven't started fresh with this one ever, so like I just kept cutting the top bits off when they got too big, as opposed to chopping it back and starting afresh. So I think this could be a really beneficial thing for this one, or it could go horribly. Who knows? I think it'll be fine though. I can't imagine it being too bad. Oh yeah, and I'll have to cut some of these bottom leaves off as well. Anything that'll be underneath the soil. There we go. No, you can't have those. Oh my god, look how tiny that is now. Ah. And we can attach this. And I suppose it probably would be easier to try and put some cuttings in now that it is small, and then I'll pop the new bit of moss pole on after that. Here's my giant bucket full of Raphidophora tetrasperma cuttings, and they are well rooted at this point. Like, look at those roots. We are not worried about these at all. They are water roots though, so it might be a bit of a, might be a slightly difficult transition for them, but I'm hoping it'll be fine. Like I said, this is one of like the hardiest plants I own. Hey, Cosmo, can you stop eating that, please? Otherwise I'm gonna have to move it. Okay, we're at the point where we can pop some cuttings in now. I'm definitely not gonna be able to fit all of them on this because this is an already quite crowded moss pole. So I might just try and do some of the ones that have like developed new growth or are top cuts, because I do have a couple of those in here. To be honest, I probably don't even need any of these, but why not try, you know? Who doesn't want a nice full plant? And I mean, it's very possible that these will fail similar to how the ones on the bottom of the other one did. And if that happens, it happens, but I hope it doesn't. And then we can take this and pop it on the top. And then on the top of this bit, I'm going to try and just clip the growth that's already there to the pole in a good spot so it can have contact with the moss, basically. And you could use computer Velcro to do this, but I find using the clips makes it a little bit more precise, which is quite useful. So the difficulty I have now is what the heck to do with this, because one, it's not potted up. Two, this whole bottom half is like kind of crappy. Three, I want the moss pole. So I could give someone some unpotted vines that I've had to rip all the aerial roots off of, which doesn't really feel like the right option. Or I throw it away. Like the plant part and like any roots that are in the pole. I'll try and get as much moss off as I possibly can, but like genuinely I don't know how much will be salvageable, especially down the bottom, because this has gotten quite dehydrated over the years. So like I can trade or sell or whatever these cuttings, which are, I'd say, much better and healthier. And this bit, I think I'm just gonna have to, as difficult as that is for me to like accept, I feel like that's kind of the right answer. Oh, that's a shame. So I guess let me dismantle this really quick and I'll be back in a sec.
11 minutes later.
I just went to put the propagation bucket back on top of the Mills bow over there and spilt water all over myself. So I'm going to change really quick and then we can carry on with the plant chores. Okay, hi again. The next thing I want to do is actually update y'all on my Regale props, because I think they're actually starting to do something. So I'm not going to pull them out of the perlite because I don't want to, but I swear to God, the growth point on this one is starting to emerge, which is super duper exciting. This is the middle cut and I don't see any roots on it or anything in there in the sides, but I don't really expect to quite yet. I have decided to like take the lid off of that one regularly or all the time because I just felt like I was a bit worried that it would go all rotty. The top piece is, I think, starting to pop out some new growth there. Look at that. I mean, it does have this old leaf on it, which I think I might try and just pull off. But, oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, this is definitely a chunk of new growth coming off the top, which is super duper exciting. Again, I don't see any sort of roots in the sides or bottom quite yet, but I'm not quite expecting that. As long as this thing isn't rotting, that's kind of okay with me. As long as it's not rotting, I think that is fair. So very excited about that. The bottom, unfortunately, of this hasn't done anything yet. Bit sad, but I think also expectable. I didn't really think it would right away anyways. So I think we're in a good place with those. I'm just making sure that they're staying nice and watered. What else do I want to do? Oh yeah. So if you're on my, or I guess Claire's Patreon, you will have seen that my Alocasia bisma has decided to kick the bucket, and I had popped it in some water, but unfortunately the stem bit started to rot down there, so I chopped off all of the rot, and I've been letting this callus over for quite a while actually, but it did already have some roots going on, and so I've kind of air layered it, but I wanted to keep the bottom out so it could callus over. So it's been a little bit of a mission to get it to get to this point, but I mean, this is gonna be the second time I've started this one over completely, which will be kind of annoying. I don't know why my bisma is so abysmal at growing, but I do kind of want to unwrap this and see if it is viable for me to pot it up. If it's not the end of the world, but I will be a little bit bummed if that's the case. So let's set up to have a look at this. Cleo, are you gonna do this next part of the video? Yeah. Okay. So I've made myself a little table out of this box in hopes that this helps. I'm sorry if you see the cats play fighting, that's just what they do. But let's have a look at this thing and see if it is worth saving and or potting up or putting into water. No matter what, I think I'm gonna take off this leaf because it is a goner. Whoop, whoop. Yeah, that leaf can come off. Oh my gosh, both the kitties here. Hey. Hi. Oh my god. Oh, these roots. Okay, these roots were not this good a week ago. Holy cow. Oh my god. Okay, so last week when I popped it into this sort of configuration, it did have some roots, but nothing like major going on. But look, the roots have like branched out now. And they're looking so freaking good, having been in the moss. Oh my god. Okay. So I suppose my question to you is, what would you do in this situation? Y'all know I love putting my alocasias into semi-hydro. Would you rinse the roots and go into semi-hydro? Or would you keep it in sphagnum moss for a little bit? Pop it in water? I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to give it a rinse and put it into semi-hydro because, oh, there they go. Because this is looking so freaking good. Oh my gosh. And it feels like it could be pregnant as well. Oh my gosh, I've never noticed that the stems on this are velvety. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's like tiny little velvet-like hairs on it. That's so cool. I just cannot believe how much the roots have grown in this time. I was kind of expecting that maybe the plant might die, that my whole air layering situation wouldn't work out as well as I wanted it to, but it's worked out perfectly. I'm definitely gonna lose this leaf as well, unfortunately, but I'm gonna leave it on for now, just out of ease. But I think, let me rinse these off really quick. Okay, I was so gentle with this because I didn't want to muck up any of the roots, so I barely rinsed them off. But I think that should be fine. And I've got a little self-watering pot here that I can use. I'm hoping this will be fine straight into the semi-hydro. I can't see why it would be an issue, but you kind of never know, because maybe it'll like dislike that I've that I've gone and taken it out. So, oh hello, kitty cats. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I've like filled it maybe a third of the way up with semi-hydro. And now I'm gonna pop this in and put more on around. Basically what happened with this bisma was I noticed that it was like massively yellowing, and I was like, I should probably pull it out. And so I pulled it out in this video that I was doing with Claire for our Patreons, and all of the roots pulled straight off, like all the way. And the stem was still firm, so I popped it in some water to hopefully like be able to root again. And only the top bit started to root, and the bottom bit went full mush. And I'm trying to be very careful not to like pat it down or anything, because I don't want to break those very fragile root hairs that I had on there. There we go. So hopefully this will come back again. This will be the third time I will have had and tried the bisma, this exact plant, this one. It has died back all the way once already, so kind of annoying, but I think it should be okay going forward. Fingers crossed. Put your bushy tail away. And then lastly, I want to go over the results of my propagation experiment, my Florida ghosts that I tried propagating in 3 different ways: soil, water, and sphagnum moss. And they have all rooted in here, and they're all growing pretty decently. So I figure we can take them out, have a look at them, and then I can pot them back up into their mother plant. So it's pretty easy to see. The ones in water have done amazingly, except for the bottoms. Like, okay, they're not actually sludgy. I might still give them a rinse because they have a bit of a film over them, a dark film, but look at the roots on that. Pretty much all of them have got new growth points, if not entire new leaves, which is so good. I was like a little bit worried about doing water props and them not really going well, but these ones, they've just fine. And then sphagnum moss, I was a little bit worried as well because I've been really struggling with sphagnum moss lately, but again, I have new growth in there on all sides, so I can only expect good things coming out of here. Let me take the sphagnum off of this really quick, and I can show y'all where we're at root-wise. Cosmo's popped himself underneath the sideboard, and Cleo wants to get at him, but he's done a good job hiding. Oh, comes out the other side. Are we gonna get a sneak attack? No sneak attack. I forgot how annoying undoing moss was from roots because I haven't been moss propping in so long. I don't enjoy. Okay, 4. So these are looking pretty frickin' good as well, if I do say so myself. So obviously it's kind of hard to get all of the moss off the roots, but they're looking pretty good. We've got some nice, pretty long ones on there as well. And again, we've got new growth. This new growth actually looks slightly bigger than the others did. This one has a whole frickin' leaf. This is a mid-cut as well, so I had to grow this whole new growth point, and this one surprisingly doesn't have very many roots at all. Weird. I'm not entirely sure why that's happened, but you know, I'm not mad at it. But those have come in really, really well. And then we have the soil propagations, which I guess I have to unpot to look at, but I know they've rooted in here. I've seen it. And the thing is, I think that, that these roots will probably be the strongest of them all. So this one, unfortunately, hasn't rooted, but it does have a bit of a growth point that's coming out. So that's good. Again, okay, I'm very not surprised. Oh, do you want to play? Is that what you're asking? Oh. Cosmos just brought a toy to play with. Hey, baby. I'm not surprised that this one hasn't rooted or anything. I've known this leaf has been a bit funky for a while and not done anything. So unfortunately that's not worked, but the ones that have rooted really well and have started putting out new growth too. So the roots aren't as long necessarily as the ones in moss were, but they seem like they've kind of branched really well. I'm not going to pull too much of the soil off because I know that disturbs them quite a lot. And we do have new growth on these ones, which is fantastic. And then this last one, it hasn't properly popped out the new growth point yet, but this one has the best roots, I think, of the whole experiment. Again, like I said, I'm not going to pull all of the soil off, but this root section is pretty freaking large, and it does have a new growth point on there, which is amazing. So vote down below in the comments which ones you think had the best roots. I'm conflicted because I think all of them have done really well. They've all exceeded my expectations, and I'm very proud of all of them. Didn't necessarily expect them to get this far, but I think I'm most pleasantly surprised with the ones in soil, because soil propagation has never been my like go-to for philodendrons, and I'm only just starting to get into it. So I think I'm most proud of the ones in soil, and the fact that they didn't just die. You know, like people always say, oh yeah, you can soil propagate. I just never listened because it felt kind of wrong, and I guess because I'm such a chronic underwaterer, I was always a bit afraid that I would just not water them enough and then the cuttings would die. But I'm working on that within myself and trying to get better at it, at not doing it. So we're in a good place. Right, let me get their mother plant and we can pop them all in. Here is the mother, the bottom, who has also been growing and just popped out that new leaf, which is exciting. And I've had it on this trellis for ages, but I think I mentioned this when I was doing this experiment sort of originally, that I want to put it on a moss pole because I think that would be the best for the plant in general. So I have grabbed a little moss pole that we can start them out on, I think, and get them attached to it going forward. I don't know, I'm still like I don't know, it makes me nervous, but I think it'll be fine. I need to just be confident in myself. Oh my God. Look at these roots. Those have gone crazy. Okay. I think I might need to upsize this pot, because this ain't gonna fit that and new cuttings. Ooh, okay. Okay. I've gone quite a chunk bigger because I just have so much that I want to pot into here. I feel like it would be more beneficial to do so. So, I guess I can use all of the soil that I already have because it's perfectly good soil. I ran out of Monstera and Philodendron, so I am just gonna have to use Anthurium and orchid soil. Normally I would use Monstera and Philodendron, but such is life. I can't right now. And I am just going to put these cuttings, kind of layer them in, I guess. I think it's going to be a little bit too full, unfortunately, but it will be fine. They'll live just fine, I think. And the moss pole doesn't need to be perfect right this second, because like, I don't think they're actually quite ready to attach to it anyway. The only one that would be the final one, but even that. Or should I just go a whole pot of new ones only? Ooh, I do not know. Because I feel like this is gonna be so full already. And if I took the water ones in here too. Oh my God. I don't think I can fit the water ones, so I am just going to go in with the OG, who I'm going to attempt to connect to the, oh, I put this in backwards for what I want to put it in. That way will be better. But I'm going to attempt to connect it to the pole because this is the only one that's actually at that point. I also have a Florida Beauty in here, which is like somewhat reverted, but I mean, I don't mind. I'm not like the biggest Florida Beauty person anyways, so just having something is a bit fun. Y'all know I like to mix variegated and non-variegated forms of plants sort of in the same pot, so I think it's a bit of fun. I will have to like proper soak this pole though, because it is like so in need of something. How do we get that to connect? Like that? It's a little bit awkward, but it's purely because it's been growing so weird for so long. I think once it gets used to being on the pole, it will do a whole heck of a lot better. And yes, that does look really weird like that, but it should be fine. I might be able to actually get some of the, do you think it'd be worth it trying to put some of the water props around? I only have 4. Should I just try it? And if they like fail, it's not the end of the world. I do have these like gaps on the side that I can fill. Okay, I mean, maybe that was a bad idea, but you know, I've done it now. And this is like the most full pot of Florida Ghost ever. and I can just fill the top with some more soil. My thought on this is if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that is absolutely freaking fine. I feel like I need to water this through. There we go. The fullest of Florida ghosts I have ever had. Exciting. Oh, okay, I mean, the afternoon's over at this point, and this is where I'm going to end this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Before I disappear, though, I want to say a huge thank you to the newest members of my Good Growing fam over on Patreon, Jurassic Jungle and Lynn. Thanks for joining in. I really hope you love it over there and enjoy all the bonus content and live chats and like access to the Discord server and just general planty fun time. I hope you like it. If anyone else is interested in joining, it is £3 a month, and for that you get all of the things. I just have one tier because it's way easier. You can kind of think about it as buying me a cup of coffee each month or running one of my grow lights and generally just helping keep my collection running smoothly. The link is down below in the description if you're interested, but totally no worries if that is not your thing. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up down below and leave a comment on other houseplanty things you'd like me to talk about in the future, and subscribe for more. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one. Don't forget to keep growing. Bye!